Are you surprised that the Nets couldn't beat this Sixers squad?
Well, as that quote will tell you, the bar's been pretty low, right? It's good to just go out there and play ball.
Always happy.
But look, first let me start here. Congratulations, Ben Simmons, and I mean that from the heart. I think that was another step forward. You went in there, you took the vitriol, and played well. 11 assists, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. I will take that. Absolutely will take that. Now, let me say this to the Nets. Can we move on now? No. Can we move on and get about the business of winning the East? All right?
Winning the East?
What? Yeah, that's the goal. No more inner turmoil, no more off-the-court distractions, no more feeling sorry for ourselves, okay? It is now about getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and then some. Which takes me to Kevin Durant. KD, here's something he said last night.
Okay.
Oh, I bet we focus on the same quote. Go ahead. Are we playing the sound?
Yeah, we're going to play
Everybody
KD.
wants to see our team fail. Nobody likes Ben. Nobody likes Kai. Nobody likes myself. So it might be like that in every road arena. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something we got to deal with.
Real quick, I didn't know you were going to focus on that. I'm very excited to see what you're going to say here because I bet we agree.
I'm going to say this. KD, I like you. I like the Nets. All right, Wildes doesn't like you. Nick hates your guts, but I like you guys. All right, and I like you so much that I perhaps stupidly picked you to win the East. All right, and so I'm gonna give you guys some advice.
Okay.
KD, is he a leader? Is he not? He's not even sure, right?
I'll give you
KD, this is what. Here's some advice, KD. Be a leader. Go to your teammates and say, look, I get it's one of 82, right? There are nights you're going to lose to some teams that are worse than you. But last night, when they are missing their 3 best players, 2 of them superstars, when they are missing or when their fans are going off on your 3rd best player in his first game back there, when your 2nd best player is just come back from a national controversy, and when a national television audience is watching, you cannot lose that game, KD. And you lost because you didn't play hard, as your coach Jacques Vaughn said. So you got to go to your teammates and say, never again. That cannot happen again, all right?
It'll probably happen.
And look, there's no Bud list this week, so KD, take this as motivation. Ben, Kyrie, Jacques, all you guys, this was your motivation because there's no Bud list.
Okay, so we both keyed on that quote, I think for slightly different reasons, but a similar idea.
You like KD? I mean,
well, I do like
not as a
KD.
person,
I do like KD as a person and as a basketball player. I like KD is the most. Well, listen, I'm a season ticket holder. I have 4 seasons.
Yeah, but
I go there and I support
like
good
an
basketball.
undercover agent.
Okay.
I mean,
but here is, I want to say something that you've said about LeBron for a moment, which is LeBron's still going to get his numbers, but the reason we know he's not in his prime is because he no longer can regularly go to the over my dead body gear.
Right.
That maybe we'll lose, but probably not. And you know why? Because of me. Because I will be the galvanizing force on all ends. And if we do lose, it's not going to be because I had any bullets left in my gun. Kevin Durant is supposed to still be in that part of his career. And he is still one of the 4 best players in the entire sport, in my opinion, on any list. We can argue about the order, but somewhere in the top 4. This was an important game. Not just because it's Philly, not just because it's Ben, but because maybe a little momentum with Kyrie back. The fortunate schedule luck of you play the Grizzlies without their 3 best guys. Then you play the Sixers without their 3 best guys. And I have given KD a pass on a lot of the I don't want to be a leader stuff that he thinks is not his job. But the leadership stuff that has to be his job is on the court, follow me. Their best guy is Tobias Harris. We have the lead late in the 3rd quarter. It wasn't a game where sometimes
Tobias took over.
No, exactly. It wasn't a game where even sometimes you're playing a bad team and they start the game 15 of 22 from 3, and it's like, okay, we're just not, it's not going to be. That wasn't it. Right. This game was there for the taking. And Kevin Durant, one of the best basketball players I've ever seen, was 3 of 7 from the field in the second half. Be 0 for 13, not 3 of 7. And make it clear this means something to Ben. It means something to me. It means something to Jacques. And that is the part of KD's lack of leadership that is an indictment on KD the player. And then there is the very smart point Kevin Wildes made when we were talking about all of the mayhem surrounding Kyrie. Wildes, in his particular funny way, was like, here are the Nets issues. And then he was like, you know what the Bucks need to work on? Defensive rebounding, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
And you said with the Nets, he was like, you know what they're terrible at? Might have been the Nets you said it. Rebounding. But we're not focused on that.
Yeah.
So now Ben's back in the fold, and Kyrie's back in the fold, and Nash is gone. And now all that stuff is dispatched, at least for now. And you know what it turns out, Wildes? Team's just not that good.
Yeah, they're not good.
Some of the issues they have roster-wise cannot be masked. And so they can be beaten by anyone. And when Bruce talking about them, Wildes making the finals, I see no scenario where they're ever better than Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, or Cleveland. I think right now they are, they just lost to Philly's JV team. Right now, Miami, Chicago, Atlanta, Toronto all have as good of an argument as they do. That's 8 teams. They are absolutely on the board to miss the playoffs, even if Kyrie and Ben play the rest of the way.
All right, Brew, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of bad news.
Oh.
And I'm going to let you figure out which one is the worst. The first bad news is going to be a stat, then I'm going to show you a low light, and then I'm going to play you a quote. The first one is the stat. Offensive rebounding for the Nets. They were out-rebounded 20-4 on their own offensive rebounds. They're 28th in the league, and they just might not have the guys that
need
together.
size.
So
They
that's
need
one
more
bad
size,
stat. Here's a bad highlight. This was down 7 in the 4th.
Yes.
There's 7:48 left. I'm like, you know what? If they get a stop here, it's the opposite of getting a stop.
It's just a
This is
whoops.
not a complicated basketball play. And I mean, there are sometimes there's like, wow, that was.
And that's the 2
That's
best
KD,
defenders on their
right,
team.
and Ben,
That's
right.
KD and Ben.
No sense. And here's the bad quote.
And Kyrie's
it's
right there.
Jacques Vaughn talking about energy. Take a listen.
My message to them was, and I'm as transparent and honest as I can be with those guys, is there's no way we're going to win games if we don't play hard. Every single possession, every night. It's just simple as that. And we'll play the guys who want to play hard.
But Wildes, that's been, they carry themselves for 3 years like a team that has won titles and has earned the right to coast. They act like they can't be bothered to give a full 48 minutes of effort. And this has been a problem. It was put on Nash initially. Well, he's gone now. And the problem
That sounds like what you say when you're about to get fired.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a pervasive problem.
Well, to your point, the worst thing was the rebounding. Of the 3 things you gave me,
Okay.
yeah, that was the worst. But I'm going to say this, and Kyrie, as you saw, was in that play as well. I think Jacques Vaughn's done a very good job since he's been in the interim. I think he made a mistake when Kyrie came back, because you could have had Kyrie come off the bench.
And
it wouldn't have been a big deal. Right? It would have been,
He's
hey,
been
he's been 8 games, he's missed, he's not in basketball shape yet. He's going to, got to get his rhythm, get the rust off. It wouldn't have felt like a demotion. And now if you do it at some point, it will feel that way. He's still the second best player on the team, clearly. But look at this graphic on the defense, because we saw before Kyrie was suspended, the defense was horrible. It became the best defense in the league for a slight stretch. During the 8 games off with Kyrie, they allowed 104 points, defensive rating 106, 36% opponent 3-point shooting. Look at since he's been back, just the 2 games.
Yeah.
For 115, they're giving up. It's just complete difference. But here's the
teams
thing.
without their 3 best offensive players for all 3 of them.
Absolute bunch of reserves they've gone against. Now, Kyrie individually, somehow the defense has been better when he's out there.
That Korkmaz one is a bad one when he gets lost.
Right, and it might, but the point is this. Not only is the defense gotten worse when Kyrie's out there, it's just bad, but also the spirit, the energy, the life that they play with. And I'm not saying bench him now, but I think that's something Jacques Vaughn has to keep an eye on. And if it continues like this, say they lose 2 of the next 3 or the next 2 games, and the defense has gone back to what it was before Kyrie was suspended, you might have to say, we got to bring Kyrie off the bench. I think he'd be great in that role, and I think he has to accept it, because if he doesn't, this could be his last year in the NBA, real talk. And so I think you could do that with him now.
Okay, well, I think that if you are already starting to reach towards the Kyrie Irving 6th man button, do you know the button that's just a couple rotations away? Blow the whole thing up button. Yeah. That is, and they at some point, Sean Marks is going to have a very honest conversation with himself of, is this salvageable? And if it is not, is the only route back to the Nets' relevance and respectability being trading Kevin Durant and getting one of the biggest hauls in NBA history for one of the best players in NBA?
Would they?
Because
remember, they weren't getting huge hauls over the summer.
Well, that was because I think there were a lot of things at play there, including the fact that a lot of teams thought, like I thought, which was that the Nets were going to fold, that they were going to make a panic trade. If they were to quietly shop him, it wouldn't be that quiet, I'm sure. I think you would see a team that says, why don't we go try to win the title right now? Because the other thing that's happened in the NBA so far this year is certainly out west, nobody looks like the favorite.
Right.
The West looks as wide open as any conference as I can remember in recent NBA history, where it's like there is no favorite out west right now. And so I'm not saying you're wrong about making Kyrie a 6th man eventually. What I am saying, Wildes, is I think that if you get to that place, you're not far from this team is broken and we have to start over place.
Would you get rid of KD?
I bet it goes the other way. I bet KD asks out.
Again,
he sees the writing on the wall. He knows it. Is Odell heading to Dallas? Oh, as a spectator, perhaps.
You clearly didn't buy my motivation.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.